and we're going to get started with the early years curriculum at Harrow Bangkok. First of all, a few introductions. I think I know pretty much everyone in early years now, all our families, but my name is Steve Foster. I'm the assistant head teacher of the Early Years Centre. We will start by having a think and talk about the importance of the early years as a set time for childhood development. I'll talk you through some changes to our curriculum and how we are launching a brand new group-wide curriculum within AISL in August. And then we'll have a think about some of the things that happen in the classroom that help to support children's learning and development. I'll particularly focus on something called serve and return interactions and give you some ideas of how you can also support that at home as well. And finally, I will talk you through the importance of of play-based learning and how that is the best way that children of this age learn and develop well. So that's the plan for the next 30 to 40 minutes. I hope you find this really useful. There will be an opportunity for any Q&As for any families joining us live at the end of this session. Okay, let's get started and think about birth to 5 as a time frame for building the brain. So I've said in my introduction that this is a very crucial and critical time for childhood development. Well, why is this the case? Well, research and neuroscience tells us that during this period, from when a child is born up until around the age of 5, brain growth and development is happening at the most rapid pace at any other point than any other point in life. So our early years is obviously from 18 months to 5 years old. So that time frame, what's happening to a child's brain at that time is really, really crucial for creating the foundations for all of the learning and development that happens later on in life. Okay? Therefore, the quality of the environments where the children are and the experiences, the things that are happening to them have during these years help to shape the architecture of the brain. So it's all grounded in current research, science, neuroscience, and thinking around brain development. And these studies have been very recent in the last, well, recent in terms of scientific developments. In the last 10 to 15 years, we've really developed on understanding of how the brain works and how neural connections are built. So if you look on the screen, you can see a diagram of some scans of brain activity. You can see on the right-hand side, you've got a scan of brain activity in a newborn, right the way up to an adult there. So those 5 rectangular diagrams are showing scans of brain activity. And you can see that the most densely populated image is of a 2-year-old's brain. That is because at the age of 2, the most neural connections, sometimes called these synapses or synapses in science, are being made. And this is the most rapid that will ever happen in life. And these connections that are being built, they are formed as a direct result of everyday experiences, relationships, and care that young children experience and have at school and at home. So this period when the children are with us in early years is so important for that healthy brain growth and development. A 2 to 3 year old will have approximately 1 million new neural connections or synapses built every single second. So that is quite a powerful way to think about the importance of this phase, as in setting the scene for everything that's to come. We have to get it right here in early years in order for success to happen later on as children move through the school into pre-prep, prep, SR5 and beyond. So we understand that the quality of our curriculum needs to reflect the critical importance of these years. We understand why they're important. Therefore, the early years curriculum has to be a world-class curriculum, giving our children world-class opportunities and experiences in order to best support that brain growth and development. Okay, as you may know, Harrow Bangkok is part of a family, a group of schools across Southeast Asia. We're the only one in Thailand, but we do have Harrow International Schools, Little Lions Early Years Kindergartens, and Innovation Leadership Academies across Southeast Asia, with more being planned and built as the group develops and expands. And a privileged part of being part of that group is that we can tap in to the best resources. We can have connections and links with experienced colleagues in other settings who all have the same passion and the same vision and the same drive to develop quality early years education within our group. We are not a play center. We are not that set up. We are a serious early years center. We have highly educated, qualified staff who plan an ambitious and rigorous curriculum for our children, all the time thinking about this brain development and understanding developmental expectations for this age and what the experiences the children need to have in order to flourish, as our mission statement puts it. So as I said, being part of this group, this family of schools, means we have connections and collaboration. And over the last 2 years, we as a school, the early years leadership here, have been working with the schools and kindergartens across the group within AISL, that is the holding company of our group, Asia International School Limited. And we've been working as part of that group to develop our own early years curriculum. And that curriculum has drawn on the best of the global curriculums around the world. We have looked at what is happening in other countries, and we have developed a really bespoke curriculum for our group of schools that reflects our values as a group, as Harrow, and our position as a leading international school. Our curriculum is mapped to England's Early Years Foundation Stage, or EYFS, framework document, because that is recognised as a world-class document for setting the standards for care and development for children from birth to 5. So it's important that our curriculum is mapped to that, and it has been, and it meets all of those standards contained within that document that we currently use. So the AISL Harrow Early Years Curriculum. This is a little bit of an introduction to how that curriculum has been structured and how it will look. So broadly speaking, our curriculum has 2 main elements. What we want the children to learn, which is the content and the knowledge, but also critically how we learn, how the children learn. Those skills and behavior and attributes all come through our HPL, our high performance learning framework, iRules and thinking skills. So those unique attributes of Harrow Bangkok are represented within the AISL early years curriculum as learning disciplines or behaviors. As I said, the curriculum is an aspirational curriculum. We want our children to achieve very high standards. Very young children are capable of very high achievement as well. And we have, as I say, mapped all of our curriculum progression to England's EYFS. Really important for us as a British international school that we are upholding, maintaining and building on those standards laid out in English curricula. As I said, high performance learning, or HPL, is also driving our curriculum and has been built into this group-wide curriculum tailored for our unique setting here in Bangkok. Another important part of our curriculum are the Sustainable Development Goals. These are a set of 17 statements that have been put together by the United Nations. And they are aims for peace and prosperity for everyone in the world and for our planet. So really clear and explicit links to our Leadership in Action program and our desire for developing the child in the whole, that holistic education that we want for our children. So they are running through all that we do as an early years, as a lower school. These are big concepts for our children, things like ending poverty and hunger, ending inequality in the world, improving health and access to education, tackling climate change to preserve our world, our oceans, our forests, our land, things like that. We're talking to our very young children about really big concepts and ideas. But I know from experience and working with young children of this age for the last 16, 17 years, that young children are ready for big ideas. Early years is the right time to do it. It is the right time to plant these seeds of social awareness into our youngest children and to give them those foundations, as I've said, for developing that sense of global belonging, because we are an international school and we have an international outlook and perspective. And that is rightly so a very, very important element of the curriculum that we deliver here. So you might think some of the things I've just said are perhaps beyond the comprehension level of young children. I tell you that they're not. Things like reducing inequality, one of the Sustainable Development Goals. We talk to our children, we focus on differences and how we are all different as members of the human race and how we're all special and that we're all one big family and everyone matters, everyone has a voice, everyone has something to contribute. Instilling those rich values from a very, very young age is so, so purposeful and powerful as they move on and they become, you know, as I said, the citizens of the world. Also, integral to our curriculum and woven through the early years curriculum are the Harrow group values. They are courage, honor, fellowship, and humility. By bringing these values in again and linking them clearly with things like our Leadership in Action, the Sustainable Development Goals, we are setting the foundations for these core beliefs that will guide our behavior and actions. And children, young people are going to need these values more than ever, these skills to be able to excel, to succeed, and to flourish in the global world that we're going in, because our school is a through school and we are on a journey. That journey starts in early years and ends right at the end in sixth form. And we always have that in our mind. We're always aware that this is the first step on the journey. Okay, so what does that look like in terms of a structure? So as I said before, our core curriculum is based around our high performance learning framework, the thinking skills, and the lower school I rules. So how we behave and how we think, integral and envelop our curriculum. And they are represented within the AISL early years curriculum as 5 disciplines, okay? So you can see them around the outside of the diagram there. They're in the yellow shaded boxes. So we've got emotional development and well-being, curiosity, creativity, then down at the bottom, motivation, and thinking and cognitive development. Then they feed in to the next part of our curriculum, which is the learning domains. And you can see them represented in pink and light blue, okay? They are communication and language development. That is at the heart of all learning. Our children are learning the skills of communication, of language. They're hearing it for the first time. They're acquiring, in many cases, 2 languages at the same time. The ability to access and engage all the other aspects of the curriculum really lies on the bedrock of communication and language development. So that is a fundamental aspect of the curriculum. It's vital in terms of being able to communicate, but also in terms of other things such as memory, recall of knowledge, developing thinking strategies. All of those things are based around good communication and language development. We've also got social development, okay? So that is about developing the ability to understand the need for and the purpose of social interactions. Our children come to us at a very young age. Our job is to guide and nurture that, to help them. We know during the pandemic, there has been limited opportunities for social interaction. So it's more important in a world now, more than ever, that children have the opportunity to learn and develop well when they have refined social skills, when they are well cared for, well looked after, and are able to engage and interact with their peers and adults alike. So you will see that within our curriculum, high quality care is fundamentally important. Then we've got physical development, health and hygiene. Again, skills that are life skills that are essential. Physical development is one of our key aspects of our curriculum because we know that in order to develop things like core muscle strength and fine motor skills, children need to have the opportunity to move in a variety of ways in order to promote good muscle development. Children need to be able to move their mouth in a certain way, to articulate certain sounds in English and in Thai. So all of those things, those building blocks need to be in place in order for the more what we think of as formal subjects to grow and develop. And as I said, we are an aspirational school with high ambitions for what our children will achieve, and they do achieve within early years. So we have literacy, reading, writing, storytelling, exposure to language. Mathematics, developing a really secure foundational understanding of the number system. In early years, by the end of the reception year, our focus is on having the children secure in their understanding of the value of numbers up to 10. You might think my child can count a lot higher than that. We're talking here about depth of understanding the value of numbers, of being able to use and apply them in different situations. Of course, young children love to count and they equate bigger numbers with harder maths. But actually, we understand that deeper learning than surface learning is really, really important. It's no good a child being able to count to 100 if they haven't got a depth of understanding of the basics of the number system and how it works from 1 to 10. So that's why we focus on that. And then we've got the arts. This comprises of design, technology, creativity, music. We're developing the whole child, and we want that in our curriculum. Understanding of the world is all about scientific and geographical understanding their place in the world, looking at change, seeing how patterns develop and emerge. Sustainability, really closely linked to the sustainable development goals, helping our young children to understand that they have an impact on the world around them, that if they walk on the grass or they pull out a flower from the ground, something happens, it has an impact. All of these very, very early stages of understanding the effect humans have on our world, and that our world is not made up of infinite resources, it's finite. We have to look after it, and we can instill that in very, very young children. Digital knowledge and awareness. The children are in a world now where, when by the time they go into the world of work, technology will look very, very different. The jobs of the future haven't been invented yet. We need to equip our children with the skills to utilize technology in a purposeful way, not to replace things, but to support and enhance. And then we have cultural identity, heritage, and diversity. As I said, we are a global, outward-looking school, but we are proud of where we're from. We're proud of our heritage. We're proud of our place in Thailand, and we celebrate that, as well as the many different cultures and diverse worlds and diversity of people that there are in the world. So this curriculum, this structure, is a curriculum for a 21st century world-class international school, and that is how it's been designed. And we are really excited at what we've built, and we are looking forward to implementing this fully in August when we return for the next academic year. So that's a little bit about the curriculum. As well as the planned curriculum, what we plan for children to experience, we also have our day-to-day interactions with children. An interaction is any sort of involvement or exchange that you have with a child. And our staff are highly skilled at doing these interactions in a way that really helps and supports that brain development and growth that I talked about right at the start. Having positive interactions with staff, with teachers, with adults at school, with people at home, that actually has a direct impact and correlation on the brain growth that I was talking about before. Conversely, having a negative interaction or a not positive experience can have a detrimental effect. So we know, and we always have in our mind and thinking, that we are in this privileged position because we are literally helping to grow the brains of our young Harrovians. So one of the most effective ways we can do this is by something called a serve and return. We use this term to describe a very high quality interaction that happens with a child. We say serve and return, and we're thinking in terms of an analogy of ping pong or tennis. So every time a young child gives us or you at home a serve, and for very young children who haven't yet acquired a verbal language, this can be eye contact, it can be a facial expression, it can be a noise or a sound. As they get older, it's the things they say and do. So when the children gives us something like that, the adult returns that serve with an engaging and authentic response. So what I mean by that is that we are tuning into the child, we are present with them. And these high quality interactions are really, really important and critical for that building that brain architecture, as I've just mentioned. Like I say, at Harrow, our staff reflect on these interactions. They don't happen spontaneously. It's too important to let it happen as spontaneous. Well, they do happen spontaneously in terms of what the child gives us, but the way we reflect and think about them is very carefully planned. We want to have these purposeful, authentic serve and return interactions to help build on and develop the move on learning. So adults will be commenting with the children, they will be narrating, they will be suggesting, they will be showing, they will be responding in terms of their body language, in terms of their facial expressions. They will be asking questions sometimes. Questions need to go with a little word of caution as well, of course, because we think as adults sometimes that asking children lots of questions is effective at knowing and assessing what they understand. For older children, that is true to a degree. It's part of retrieval process, but questioning a very young child at this age when they are giving you something can actually have a detrimental effect. So we need to be careful, judicious, and really smart about how we ask and question children. So I'm going to show you a video now in which you can see how you as parents and families at home can support and have those effective interactions with your children as well. So I will share the video. It's about 5 or 6 minutes long. I hope you find it useful.
Did you know that you can help build a child's brain?
Those are bananas.
Everyday interactions can have a big impact on developing brains throughout childhood, starting even before babies can talk.
Scientists call this serve and return. Like a game of tennis or ping pong, a child serves by showing an interest in something, and the adult responds in a supportive way.
Finding moments throughout the day to do it is easy and fun, and you'll be building strong brains. You can use 5 steps to practice serve and return with any child. Step 1. Share the focus.
When a child is interested or curious, you can see it.
What's this? It's a stroller.
Watch this child look at something in a book, right there. Pointing shows interest.
Cow.
So does making a sound, like this child. And mom is paying close attention.
See baby moving those little arms and legs and focusing on the ball? That's a serve.
The key is paying attention to what the child is noticing.
Oh, you like those guys too?
Look at Grandpa sharing the focus.
By noticing serves, you will help build curiosity and you'll strengthen your relationship.
Step 2, support and encourage.
You can return a child's serve by saying a word of encouragement.
That's right. Very good.
Watch Grandpa return this serve by saying thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Even a facial expression can encourage a child.
Orange.
Or emotion, like this mom dancing.
Time. A.
You can also pick up the object that the child is pointing to and bring it closer.
We need help to sit her down.
Things like helping and playing with the child let them know that their thoughts and feelings are heard and understood. Step 3, name it.
Yeah, the puppy. See the windows, the house.
When you return a child's serve by naming what they are seeing, doing, or feeling, you make important language connections in their brain.
He's got bumps all over him, huh?
This brain building happens even before a child can talk or understand your words.
You can name anything, a person, a thing, an action, a feeling, or a combination.
Clean up, everybody do your shit.
When you name what a child is focused on, you help build understanding of the world around us and what to expect from it.
The baby's sitting. Ooh, the baby's sitting in the back seat of the car.
You like those? Those are raisins. You have raisins all the time.
Naming also gives a child words to use later and shows that words are important to you.
Step 4, take turns back and forth.
Taking turns helps children learn self-control and how to get along with others.
Waiting is crucial. When you return a serve, give the child a chance to respond.
How are you? I'm good. How are you?
Note that the caregiver waits here for the next serve.
See this toddler navigating a new adventure? Grandpa is waiting patiently, returning serves by asking questions and then waiting to see what happens next.
Yeah.
You want to cover it?
Yeah.
Are you cold?
Yeah.
Oh, put this over your lap like this, okay? There. Do you like that?
Yeah.
Oh.
By waiting, you give the child time to develop ideas and build confidence and independence.
Step 5, practice endings and beginnings. Children signal when they're done or ready to move on to a new activity.
Watch how this child shows it's time to start something new. Letting go of a toy signals an ending. Then picking up a new toy signals the next beginning.
Wanna play with the giraffe?
Sharing the focus is important in this step.
Ooh, the big eagle.
Because this mom is sharing the focus, she notices when her child is ready to end one activity and begin something new.
X, Y, and Z.
When you can find these moments for a child to take the lead,
Let me try this one.
you support the child in exploring their world
Would you like to play with something else?
and make more serve and return interactions
Yeah, you wanna
possible.
sit there?
Serve and return interaction is critical for a child's developing brain. And the best news is that you can do it anytime, anywhere, without any need for toys or technology.
Look for small opportunities throughout the day, like while you're making a snack or while you're grocery shopping. What matters most is that you're doing each of these 5 steps. Notice the serve and share the child's focus of attention. Return the serve by supporting and encouraging. Name it, take turns going back and forth, and practice endings and beginnings.
Serve and return interactions make everyday moments fun and become second nature with practice. Try practicing with a child today.
Okay, I hope you found that useful and informative with some like really practical tips of things that you can also do at home when you're having interactions with your child. It's really important that we describe it as being present in the early years with children. Okay, so if we are distracted by something else, or we are, we've got our phones or something else is going on, we're not going to be present for our children, and our children need us to be present. If they're giving us something that's served, we give them back the return. And you can see from the videos how that is so important for social skills, for developing language, for behavior, for their confidence, their self-esteem, their well-being, all of those things that happen. And we as practitioners in school practice these interactions, we reflect on them, we learn from them, and we plan for them as well. So the effective interactions with a serve and return are, again, crucially important for that healthy brain development and growth. Oh, sorry, it's playing again. We don't want to see it again. Okay, so talk to you a lot about what our curriculum is and the ambitions for it. How do we get to this? Well, the main way we get through this is by learning through play. And you may come into the Early Years Centre and you can look around and you will see lots of fun play-based activities going on. And it may appear that they are just playing. That's all that's happening. But actually, all of the play-based experiences that have been planned have a purpose in mind. And you will notice, if you look back from our toddlers up to our reception, our type of play changes. It evolves and develops. The type of things that we set up for the children, the challenges we give them, the resources they use, they are clearly progressive and developmental for the age. So play is a really essential part of childhood development. It builds confidence. It helps the children as they're learning to explore. They're learning to get along with others, to relate to other children, have social interactions. They're setting themselves goals and challenges. They're solving problems. They're working as a team. You can see down in the bottom picture on the right there, a group of reception boys, okay? They're working together. They're using their imagination. They're being creative. They're putting things together to reach a desired outcome. They're using something we call symbolic play. So they are representing open-ended resources, so like wooden sticks, circular discs and things like that, to mean something else. So they're transferring meaning. These are high order things going on in what on the surface looks like play. The top corner, the picture with the Lego. In that picture, the adult is developing the children's knowledge and understanding. So we are practicing counting. We are sharing. Can you pass me the yellow brick, please? I need 3 more to build one like yours. What is that you put on yours? What would you call that? All of those subtle things that are happening in the play are happening consciously by the adult, who is all of the time thinking, how, when I'm playing with these children, are the things I'm saying and doing moving on their learning at an appropriate way. And we want our children to have a sense of agency. So that's so important. It's important for young children. It's important for adults in life, because that gives us motivation. So leading their own play. By leading their own play and taking part in play, that adults gently guide, children learn and develop well in the early years. Okay? They're developing language skills, like I said. They're developing their emotions, their self-regulation, having to share. For very young children coming to school for the first time, if they've been at home and they have brothers or sisters, they haven't got a big group of children. They've got their own toys, their own resources, their own things. Sharing is something that we have to teach our children to be able to do. Empathy is something that we have to teach our children to be able to do as well. These are really important skills that, are fundamental for life going forward. And as I said, we're on about deep learning. Play provides opportunities and a meaningful context for children for deep learning. Young children, birth to 5, have to be motivated. They have to see a purpose to what's happening in order to be successful. And how do we know that this approach works? You may think, well, yeah, it's all good, but how do we know that we reach these high standards? But we know because our data, our results, our tracking systems in school clearly show us that by the time children leave us in the early years, at the end of the reception year, they are achieving very high standards in terms of their mathematics, in terms of their communication and language, and their written knowledge and understanding of English, their engagement with the phonics system, being able to decode words in the English language, being able to read simple sentences and hold a pencil to write. As the children do get older and progress throughout the early years, the balance of child-led play and adult-led play shifts, and there will be more times when the children are older where we ask them to come and work with an adult to do a particular task. Okay, children need to, as I said, lead their own play, but they also need to be guided and exposed to different things that they may well be interested in as well. So all the time we are trying to have that balance of this play-based curriculum, but moving on their learning through the interactions and focusing on what is critical and important in the very youngest years. So that is communication and language, that is social development and physical development. They are the core of everything else that comes. So that is why learning through play is the best way our children will learn. Okay, so that brings us very, very good timing to almost to the end of this afternoon's workshop. I hope you found that useful and informative. If there are any questions, please do ask. Okay, we do have a question here. It says, as a Thai parent who had experience studying abroad, I found the environment with all English would develop the new language skill better than having a mixture of Thai and English environment. What do you think of the current situation of having English-Thai environment at Harrow compared to all English? What is the real guidance for local Thai teacher assistants in using Thai in the classroom? Okay, this is a very interesting and very current question. Ms. Kate Umpleby did lead a workshop on maximizing bilingualism a few weeks ago. So if you want to know more about that, I suggest you would go to the parent portal and perhaps you can watch a recording of that. It is on there, but I will address that question now. Okay, so English is our common language at Harrow Bangkok. Our teachers teach in English. The environment is predominantly English. The texts and resources that we have in our classrooms are in the English language, in English print. Our lessons are delivered in English. So we are an English speaking school. That is our common language. We're not a bilingual setting. But there are certain things that we do in early years for very young children that support their language acquisition if they are learning English as an additional language. For example, translanguaging is a technique that our children use that is going from one language to the other. It would be very harmful and very wrong for us as practitioners to insist that children from this age who have not yet fully acquired English to a proficient and fluent level were to speak only in English. Very often they do speak in English and we praise and reward that effort as well for doing that. But we recognize that they can't all do that. So we have to support their development in their mother tongue. And the research tells us that by having that sort of equal understanding of their home language and English, they actually acquire English better. It actually improves outcomes by having that dual language going on. But the predominant language that we teach in, I can't speak another language, so I have to speak to our children in English. But sometimes if a 2-year-old came to me and was telling me something that I didn't understand, I would have to have it translated in order to understand what the child was saying. So I do believe that the approach we have here is about maximizing what we do, the benefits and the potential. But we do have, by the time our children leave us in reception, they are, I would say 99% are fluent in English. Their direct instruction is in English, and they are socializing and interacting in English as well. So I hope that answers the question. So I would actually say that we don't have an English stroke Thai environment at Harrow. I'd say we have an English environment It's just that we have some adults who are able to support children with their home language by using bilingual strategies, translation, and so forth. But as I said, there is a whole parent workshop on the parent portal all about bilingualism and the benefits of some of the techniques that we are using and the current thinking around that. Is there any kid leaving reception unable to hold a pencil or unable to write the alphabet? That is extremely rare, and there are no children in the current cohort who cannot hold a pencil and who cannot write and form letters of the English alphabet. Some can do that better than others. Obviously, there is a differential, but no, the children do leave the reception year being able to read and write in the whole. There's always going to be some children with certain difficulties, but no, the children, that is the expectation of our curriculum, that they are able to do that. In fact, in the nursery year, by the end of the nursery year, very many of our children have developed a pencil grip and they're able to hold writing materials, and we call it mark making. So beginning to make lines and shapes like that. But yeah, we have a high focus, high priority on that as well. So no, we don't have children who aren't able to do that at the end of the reception year, because that would be a significant gap in what they're expected to do. And we do recognize as well that the year one curriculum and the demands of that are different to early years. So we want to have a seamless transition, and we want to do our best to prepare them for that. So very high standards in terms of academic achievement. I hope I've, what are the rules, guidelines for local Thai assistants using Thai in the classroom? Okay, so if the children are able to speak, communicate, and understand in English, we would speak to them in English. If there was a child who wasn't able to do that, then the Thai staff would provide translation at the teacher's requests. But by and large, by the reception year, that is not necessary for the majority of our children. We would only speak in Thai to help them and support them. We wouldn't want a child being upset or distressed if they felt like they weren't being able to be understood by the adults at school. Okay, are there any other questions anyone would like to ask me? Well, thank you so much for those questions. I hope you found my responses useful. As I said, I would direct you towards Kate's workshop, but if there are any questions about that sort of thing and you would like to come and speak to me in school, please do. I'm very happy to talk you through anything that you are concerned about or would like to know more about in terms of provision for bilingual and multilingual students. Okay, thank you. Are there any other questions at all? No, I don't think any more are coming through. I really do thank you for your time, for joining us, joining me this afternoon on this live, if you've joined us. If you've watched a recording of this, I hope you found it useful and informative as well. Thank you again. I wish you all a very pleasant long weekend. Take care, stay safe, and we'll see you soon. Thank you very much. Good evening.